Hi everyone, I'm William Kuzmin, music box maker. This is a Advent pyramid. The candles here and it'll make the fan spin. Got 3 levels that turn. The nativity level is stationary. And what we need to do is we need to take this apart because I need to make repairs. So the first thing one does is takes all these fans off. Try to do it as quickly as possible here. Some of them go in very loosely, some of them are a little tighter than others. So we've got all the fans out now. The next thing we want to do is we pull the top spindle straight up, and I'm going to have to remove this one so it just dropped out. So this slips into the wooden spindle that's in the center, and very carefully and a little bit at an angle take the top piece out. And now we're going to go ahead and remove the candle holders, which just slide on from the front and the back here. So now what I need to do is get this spindle out. Now underneath the bottom there's a wooden nut on a thread on that spindle, and we have to loosen that thread so we can lift it up. Now this has got lights in it, so over here on this side through this post there are wires that will ultimately connect to the dimmer switch. But in order to take the top piece off, the wires had to be disconnected underneath, and I have to make a modification so that it can be taken apart and put together again, so that all these things can be packed separately, these little pieces like this one here, so it'll go in its own little box. So it just gets protected, because if it's shipped with all the pieces, sometimes they break off, and if one breaks off it hits all the others and it's a gigantic mess. So I try as best as possible to make the shipping as safe as possible. Of course with a local purchase, then it doesn't have to be taken apart for shipping. But it will need to be reassembled, and that's one of the reasons for the video. Now I've got this little stand here that I'm going to put on the back, because remember these are loose. This, as you can see, wobbles. But what I'm going to do is put it on its side, and I use this to hold up the back. So right now it all works well. And again, I'm holding this top piece very securely. And I didn't do a great job there. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to go from underneath here. This is tricky because you don't want to slide it. I'm going to try and get the angle here so you can see better what I'm doing. You'll see when I'm done the part that's underneath here that had to be unscrewed. screwed. Now to do it, I have to kind of hold my bottom. So there we go. So I'm loosening this wooden screw underneath here. There's also a spindle. Okay, so now I know my spindle's loose. I can slide this back over. And now I'm just going to lift the whole house assembly straight up. And there's our center spindle. Okay, so there we go. Now, gently again, I'm going to remove this piece and set it aside. And then this bottom platform just comes out. And there's our wooden nut and our spindle piece. And I'm going to bring this a little closer here so you can see. So the way it works is this is the spindle. This is like a hard plastic concave piece that allows the very, very tip of the spindle there. You can see there's like a shiny metal rounded piece, and that sits in there and helps it to spin. So this goes in. There's a You can see there's a hole underneath here. This goes in here. And you put this in after you've assembled it. Again, this is something that I do from the bottom. And that's the nut. And let me show you here. The spindle goes through there, and this nut is what holds it in place. But in order to take the top piece out and the spindle out, the nut has to be removed. Okay. So that's how we take it apart. And I'm going to move these to the side right now. My other spindles. Go ahead and platform to the side. Set it down on the floor. Because underneath here is where we have the wires that come through. And originally these two wires were attached to the socket like this, but this socket would not go through the bottom to take it apart. So what I'll be doing here is I'll be using, I've already taken out, these will go into here, But what we'll be doing, and again, this will have to be done from the bottom once it's assembled, so it's going to be a little bit tricky, but we'll just be putting the some wire nuts on it from the bottom, and then the next one will go on, and of course then this will go right into its socket, which will then be able to plug into the plug with the dimmer switch. And that's how we're going to be making that repair. Have a great day.